Hey guys, Tony and Nick here with the Sicilian brothers, and we are super excited to have Danny here with Elevated Interiors. She's the designer and stager. She recently just staged our Hollywood project. She's going to do the Lipscomb one, the Historic District House, and super excited to talk to her, so check it out.
Are you listening?
Well, folks, it's time to kick it old school.
How did you get into design? All right, what were you doing before you were doing real estate?
Well, before I was doing real estate, I was in college.
Okay.
So I graduated college. I started dating my fiance, who's Donovan Ruffin, and that was kind of my whole introduction into real estate.
What were you going to college? Were you going for design or anything? Or
No, actually, I was doing marketing and data analytics. So,
marketing is real estate.
Yeah,
We talk about that all
Yes.
the time. So that's awesome.
Perfect category.
Yeah. So I love, marketing, and then I've always been interested, in the numbers, because at the end of the day, that's what you're doing the marketing for, to increase your whatever KPI you're trying to increase, right? And then I met this crazy individual.
Yeah, you know KPIs. I don't even know KPIs.
It was literally in October. We were at a meeting, and he leans over. He's like, "What's KPI?" And I was like, "Oh man, that's my bread and butter from past life." But yes.
So definitely see the data analytics out of you coming through. That makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but I love being creative, and I love going back to how did I get into real estate. My fiance, Donovan Ruffin, once I graduated college, he was in this crazy world of real estate, and I always saw him doing all these crazy things, and he would ask me to help him. So I was like, okay, we're in Texas. There's a big Hispanic market, and so sometimes I would answer the phone for him and, get stuff under contract, talk to these people or whatever. But I really started falling in love with design when I started helping him with flips. So we would go to these houses, and I had never seen houses in the condition that I see them, because he was a big fix and flipper back when we met, 2017. That was his bread and butter. He was driving out to Fort Worth, Arlington, Lancaster. I was like, oh my gosh, an hour and a half to see this ugly ass house. What the hell? And he'd just walk around it, and I'm like, this is ugly. I don't know what to tell you.
And if you don't know, you think, oh my God, you can't save this.
Nah.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. But it was really always interesting to me, though, because I could see the potential in it.
Yep.
But it took seeing a couple of them done to really understand how it was done.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yep.
mean? And I think that's where the design bug really bit me, because if you take a project from something so ugly and so hideous and
pride.
Yes,
Yep.
and you take it to something that is beautiful and it's your baby, it's addicting.
He's laughing because you are
That's
you are
you.
literally speaking his soul right now. It's like you're reading his book. The one way that we've transitioned, all right, how do you do that? Because it's very difficult to do that as a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can't scale with that. It's not practical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not custom home builders.
No,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right. And so there's in the investment world, which you've probably had plenty of experience in this area, where you're like, oh, okay, I got to do this house with $50,000 or whatever it is. And you're like, I need 80 or 100, right? And so how do you not flip on a budget, but how do you not, as everyone tells me I do, over rehab, right? And
How do you spend smartly and where it needs to be?
And so there's the business side of it, but there's the design side of it. So you have to balance I really want to do this with we can only afford to do this.
Right.
And so I don't know. This is definitely, how we've done it is we have passion projects
go.
and then we have flips.
Mm-hmm.
So I only allow him, and I'm going to say allow at this point, I only allow him to do one passion project at a time. Case in point, Hollywood, which is where we met, right?
Yes.
You came in, and we were talking about staging.
Which
and
you guys did an amazing job on.
And
Thank you.
we weren't going to stage that because we don't stage. It was, and listen, man, we really should. So we started looking into it, started looking at numbers, and I was like, this house, it's a passion project. It came out, knocked it out of the park. What's the cherry on top? Staging. It's
Yep.
needed, right? You're going to get that return. We were talking earlier. What were the numbers you were saying?
So in a regular market, staging done right, it'll increase your profit from 1 to 5%. But in a hot market like today, and with all this California money and New York money, New Jersey money that's coming in, it's 5 to 10. So it's really like leaving money on the table if you're not staging. Of course, somebody's going to come in and buy it. I mean, the chances of that right now, 100%.
It's not gonna. Yeah, it's not gonna sit.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to come take that house.
And if it is sitting, then there's something wrong with it, right?
Yeah,
like that's kind of the rule
majorly.
of thumb right now, right? Like it has functional you have to walk through a room to get to another bedroom, right? There's something off. But
there's a
I was,
hole in the wall, or
I was joking with you that when you were staging the house on Hollywood, I was joking with you literally that day. I was like, I don't know, Danny, we're gonna see. They say you get 10% more if you stage. So, and I priced that house 10% higher. And knock on wood, it's closing next week, but it appraised. And we got it, and
yes,
thank you.
That's what I'm talking about.
It was a stunning house, and it just, with the staging, it just felt
like a home.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a house until you came in and put stuff in there and made it a home.
Yeah. Thank you.
And so it's definitely something that I don't know that I would do it on every single house, but there are certain projects where
every passion project we can though.
Yeah.
That's where it makes a good financial business decision, right? Those projects that you're trying to push. So we traded out. We got rid of Hollywood, right? We're selling that one. So our new one is our Fort Worth
historic
district, right? And
which
same
I've
thing. We're
seen
doing
some
another $150,000-$160,000 rehab. But it's going to have a cherry on top, and it's going to be selected for the right buyer to have a home. And at the same time, we turn around and we have our bread and butter that we owner finance, rentals, not different grades, just different involvement.
Yeah.
So,
and talking about like different price points and like passion projects and stuff like that, I do have certain clients, fix and flippers, that when they're looking at their house and they're like, wow, this house needs probably 50 to 60K to like make it that like featured house, but they're really only willing to spend like 20 to 30, they call me, because good staging is like going on a date.
Yeah.
And you can tell that they showered and they brushed their teeth.
That's a perfect
and,
analogy.
like their clothes are clean rather than just like sticking some gum in their mouth, and like their jeans were like in the dirty hamper, and they're like whatever, and the conversation flows and they're not on their phone, and you're just like interacting with the house, and they're like, yeah, I could have put $10,000 and did this and this. But the buyer walked in there, and the staging is great, and they loved it, and my wife just fell in love with the kitchen.
It's the story.
Yes.
Right? So the story of the staging paints the picture that makes that buyer walk in and be like, oh, my God, the couch there. Oh, the shower, our master bed. Like for Hollywood,
absolutely.
For me, when you walk into the master bedroom, you just see that big bed and the nightstands, and you just think of, oh, this can be my bedroom, right?
And the view, and then
the view of the light and all that natural, right? But like you walk in and you're like, oh. So if you didn't have that bed set up in there, it might not have brought that same emotion.
Yeah.
And I think what we all, investors kind of miss on the investment side of the game is the emotion.
Yeah.
There's so much emotion when people are selling their homes.
Oh,
but the
so
emotion, the power of the buyer's emotions when they fall in love with it, it's insane. And so tapping into that, like you just did with that story of the dating, like it's exactly the same
like
thing.
that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good, and it makes you envision it. And creativity for everybody, it's different, and it looks different for everybody. And as as a designer, as a stager, your job is to pick the right pieces so that they don't have to do that job.
Yep.
It's already stressful enough. The buyer's agent was already late, okay? And they've already put 10 offers, and your job is to make it easy. They go in there and they envision it, and they fall in love, and the return on investment for the client is,
huge.
Really, really good.
I'd have to do the math on the difference of what that cost to what we made. It was stupid.
Well, not to talk about numbers, but pretty much we paid X amount, and we ended up doing 25 over, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So-
almost 35 over.
35
so,
over?
Yeah, I
So,
mean,
yeah.
it was stupid amount of. I can't 3,000-4,000% on what we paid for staging.
Yeah.
And the math is ridiculous. So,
Yeah.
so it's definitely powerful. It's funny, we were talking about designing, and you were talking about the passion, like when you start doing certain houses and
Yeah.
you get like really emotionally connected to them, and I get yelled at for it all the time. But, when people started talking, they didn't like my color choice for the deco wall in Hollywood. And I was like, yo, the fact that I went with the deco wall at all, I was super stressed about. And all I did was take the gray from outside and bring it on the wall inside. And they were like, why didn't you do blue or green or, and I'm like, hold up. I was like, I'm not a custom home builder. I was like, I'm a fix and flipper, right? I take really, really crappy houses and give them new life.
Yeah.
So I give
That house was on tree stumps.
Yeah,
it
that
was
house-
literally on tree stumps.
That house is.
I had no foundation.
I mean, it
I
was
saw
really.
that before.
Yeah, the befores of that house.
I had
it
no
was
back of the
bad.
house. The house just fell. It was
Yeah,
just gone.
And I'm surprised. Donnie and Omar, that sold it to us. Like I think they walked it that day, and they were like, he turned that like this was it, and then this,
Oh, they were shocked.
right? And so I was like, my design, my job isn't to give you like this custom home that I'm gonna paint this wall for you. That's not my job. My job is to give you like the blank canvas.
Yeah.
I was like, if someone wants to come in and paint that gray wall blue or whatever their favorite color is, aqua or whatever,
Right.
that's up to them. But I was just trying to like
Yeah, because
keep
you don't
it
have an
monotone.
immediate client.
Yeah.
If you were working with somebody that contracted you,
Yeah.
like a designer,
Yes,
right?
yes, totally different.
Then yes, that's your job.
Yeah.
But
Narrowing your buyer pool at that
Yeah.
point.
yeah.
Which I thought I was doing anyway with the deco wall and with the color on it, but it actually worked really, really well.
Yeah, no, I think you did an amazing job. And I think that's a trend that we're seeing in 2021, like wall trim
Yeah.
and accent walls. And I absolutely love it. There's actually we were in Phoenix last week, and there's a designer out there, London Pierce, and she let me walk one of her like $1 million. I think she just pre-sold it for $2.1 million. And she has this beautiful wall trim, and wall trim has been around forever. I mean, when I think wall trim, I think like Buckingham Palace,
Yeah.
like the French and the English and all this stuff. But the way that it's being done now, it's like very abstract, or you can do more of a traditional with like a blue color that makes it more modern contemporary.
Yeah.
And it's
Most
fun.
people know it as the board and batten, right? Just that's like you would see it in their dining room. That
Yeah.
one wall in their dining room, and it's like boxes, right? But now, you're seeing geometrics, or you're seeing.
I'm
like,
putting it in my nursery.
That's
it's
awesome.
fun.
It's
That's awesome.
it's like wallpaper coming back, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
you talk about grandma's house. We grew up. We used to have carpet in the kitchen and wallpaper everywhere, and it was disgusting. But now there's like high-end wallpaper, and you're like, wow, it's really nice. I would put that in my own house. So just using something that's been around forever and updating modern, it's just a great tool.
And putting a cool color to it, like the gray.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a little accent onto it.
Yeah,
I think that's the first thing that you said to me when I didn't know.
Oh,
that
I
y'all
said,
were
I said, I was like,
brothers.
yeah, right up. So first conversation, I said, she was commenting on it. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have picked the color, but and right off the bat, and she thought I was just a worker. I was like, I can talk shit about it. It's fine.
I told you, everyone everyone.
I didn't hate it. I
No,
didn't hate it.
everyone literally
knock
was like,
it.
no, why did you do that? And I literally was just like, it's monotone, right? I didn't. I already kind of went ballsy with the with the wall itself, and so I was like, I didn't want to throw another color into the mix.
And my criticism was I didn't like the tone. I wasn't going to say, oh, we should have did royal blue or some. No, it had, I think it was
A green.
hint
It has
to
a
it that
green hint to it.
I think it would have been more better if it was like charcoal. But again, I think it was a stunning decision. It was amazing. It went amazing with the staging,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
also perfect. It wasn't, if you walked in and it was just all open, you're like, they have this weird wall and it's painted like shit. That's different. But you walked in, you're like, oh, you got this, this accent piece. It's painted beautifully.
the dining
and
room
it goes
set.
well with everything. I
Yeah.
can see it.
The dining room set that you brought in, right? For instance, whether or not you put that much thought into it, but the dining room set, even with the black and the two-tone wood,
Oh, yeah.
like that that played with the hood range and the wine rack, like
all
it
the
all
natural
giant
accents.
fan,
in it.
72-inch fan, and
it all played really, really well. What nobody realizes, because you know, again, now that the house is staged, you're looking at the staging.
hide the flaws.
You're hiding certain flaws,
Absolutely, all
right?
the faults are gone.
The what you don't notice is, and if you go back through it when it's empty, you'll see that the wood floors actually have like a green tint to them. It's like a gray, green, brown. It's really weird. It actually worked really well when the house was not staged. Like I was like, oh wow, there's green and green, and it kind of like worked. It still works, but again, that to me, someone can go paint that now.
Yeah.
I did the wall. Someone can go paint that, right? When the new buyer buys it next week and he closes on it, he might go get pink. Who knows, right? Like,
And
let
it's
him
up to him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let him do whatever he wants with it.
we never. So one thing that I hate fans in living rooms, right? I don't like. I never want to design a house and have to design where they're going to put things, right? And that's why he always asks me, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do a fan here, do fans only in the bedrooms, because I'm telling them where they have to put the couch. And if I told them where they have to put a couch where it's not going to work for them, that person might have an issue. And I'd
Right.
rather just eliminate that. In
Yeah.
that house, it was totally different. Staging, what I found is we already build a good product. We already build a great home for them, but it's literally using staging and you're slapping them in the face with it. And you're literally allowing them to walk in and say, this is a good home. Like, I can feel it. I always said at Hollywood, the thing that's going to sell Hollywood is when you walk in that master and you turn and you see that wall of windows and you see like a nice little, not an oasis, but you're on like a little private sanctuary.
Oh, yeah.
8-foot fence, and
Yeah.
that's all you see.
Yeah. Big
And I was like,
backyard.
imagine waking up, and I said, imagine waking up getting out of your bed in the morning and you seeing this, and it's beautiful. Well, now we staged it, and that person, that buyer, is seeing exactly what we want them to see.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's not like I hope they see this and they hope they envision it. I'm going to slap them in the
I'm
face
gonna
with it.
tell
Yep.
them what I'm gonna tell them the story
Exactly.
and
And
give
I
them
think
that
that
emotion.
I think that definitely helped on Hollywood. It'll probably help on Lipscomb when we do Lipscomb, which we'll get into. But said the word trend and like things that are coming. And one thing for me, it's always a problem when I'm picking the exterior colors of a house, because we don't always paint the exterior of brick homes, but you know, some of them we do. But I'm starting to see like greens.
I was literally gonna say greens are actually making a big comeback.
Green was like Lady Gaga's color in like 2019. Green was her color that she said was trending, and now here you are 2 years later. It's like green is.
I'm not up. You know me. I'm not good with the design. I am, but I'm not up to date on it. So when you say green, are you talking that plant green? Or are you talking like
No.
a subtle
It's like
greens?
a moss green.
Yeah, so the green
Like a gray
that we
moss
did on
green.
Huntington.
Okay.
That color tone, and then we just did it actually on Bong, and we're going to do it on Brambleton. So I found this one swatch that was kind of like the perfect mix of green and like a beige. It works really, really well, and it looks homey. And so I started doing the exteriors green,
Yeah.
outside of the white and porpoise gray that you have on Hollywood. So is green really trending, really would be the question, you know?
I think bold colors are just trending. Like, we've seen so many like white kitchens and white exteriors. I think what we were really into, or at least Dallas, like I felt like for the last 3 years, what I've seen in Dallas is gray everything, modern farmhouse everything. Like, it was just like an explosion of modern farmhouse
That,
gray
the
everything.
The agreeable gray. Like
Yeah.
every flipper uses the same
Everyone.
agreeable gray
Yes.
on the walls.
And I think it's disgusting.
And so
It's
I don't
so
I don't
awful.
do gray on any of my interior
Ever.
I
Even on the
paint,
rentals.
I paint walls and ceilings white. And everyone's
Yes.
like, it's too much white. And I'm like, no, it's clean.
Yes.
And so the person that, again, that blank canvas,
I'm not
right?
designing their house.
I'm not designing their house. I'm giving them the product. They can go paint afterwards and change colors.
Yes.
One thing that I'm like, I do agree the bold colors are in.
They're in,
in
yes.
splashes. Like on bathroom vanities, we did one on Candle Nut where we did it like
green.
a blue green.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it worked really, really well.
I did not, and again, the color thing, I need to see it. Like, and I was hating it. They showed me the swatch. I was like, that's gonna go with gold, and it's not gonna work. But let's see what happens. and it was knocked out of the park, and I was
Yes.
absolutely wrong. Tina, you were right. It was beautiful.
My
It was
apologies.
absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Design-wise, knocked it out of the park.
Yeah, it's interesting, but then you'll see that overuse. Like you'll see people do like, because I'm not a big fan of. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like if you follow people on Instagram and like you'll see like an all black kitchen, and I'm like, oh, it looks great in the photo, but like
But is it functional?
I couldn't
Like,
live
can
there.
You,
Yes.
Like, can I wake up every morning and go make my coffee and feel like this
Yeah.
is my home?
Yeah.
I couldn't. No.
There's somebody out there that can, and I
But
absolutely
yes,
agree that.
agreed.
But I don't want to sell a house just to one buyer. I want to be able to market to the masses.
Yeah,
I
unless
want less days
unless
on
you're
it.
doing the design aspect
Yes, if
for
I'm doing
someone
a
specific.
high
Yep.
end
Yep.
and it's in a neighborhood, yes, you're finding only that type of buyer that's going to come look at that
Yep.
house. That's different. But
I think the it's what's kind of been weird for me, and I'm actually doing it on Lipscomb. So the historic district house is 1900s, late 1800s, early 1900s house, and it's like vintage, but I'm trying to like not
Modernize
make it feel like grandma's house, right? So I'm throwing stained accents in it, but whereas I did the stained vent range, vent-a-hood,
With
and
the wine.
yeah, and then the wine rack, I'm not doing that in this one. I'm actually going to stain the island.
I love that.
Right, so I'll do all white, and then the pop of stain will come in the island, and
Yeah.
then the deco wall on Lipscomb's going to be a stained
the ladder
deco wall.
stairwell.
Nice.
Yeah, so the stairwell is going to be like a deco wall, but stained.
Oh my gosh, that's gonna be nice. I need to go see it. I
Yeah,
need to go check it out.
well, you're going to stage it, so we're going to have to figure
You
that
will,
out.
don't
But
worry.
it's going to be
Demo
it's
just
definitely going to be an
started today.
interesting one. But that's where I'm going to pull the contrast in with the tones of the warm woods and stuff like that. So, it's interesting because again, you see so many trends, and I'm trying like there.
You can pull from anywhere. Like really, like there's so many trends out. Like,
But there's so many investors that are, and I'm sorry, investors, I'm not talking shit about you, but I am. But like everyone's doing the same thing, right? So shaker cabinets
Yes.
from wherever, whatever store, and then white or grays, the same basic stuff. But
yes.
I've really tried to take our business to simple with a twist. So I do use basic subway tiles, but I change the pattern.
Yeah.
So it is timeless, but it's just different, right?
Yes.
So it is, not the most expensive tile. It's not marble, right? But it's different because it's a little bit
It's
twisted.
simple but modern because it's got that twist in
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And so instead of doing brick pattern, and one of the other things that you see when they're doing grays is they do the dark grout. And I think
Oh,
it's
horrible.
so bad.
Oh my god, I hate it.
Because sorry Ryan, but you see the errors in, if your tile guy isn't perfect, you see the lines
Right
are all
away.
wavy right
Yes.
away, right? So I think people forget that like our job is to hide not hide mistakes. That's
Not shine light onto them.
yes,
yeah, try to make the faults as
minimal
Because
as possible.
Minimal as
it's not that there's a fault, right? It might just be not done as well. There's nothing wrong with it, but you're shining a light on it.
Yeah.
Huntington we turned the corner and it was just a hallway to a bathroom, and that wall, the grout, and I said from day it sold right away. It was a great house, but I said it's like you turn the corner and you're staring right at it. It's in your face. It shouldn't be there. It should have just been white.
Yeah, it should have just been white. You wouldn't have had that thought.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you think of like when you're walking some of your flips with Donnie? Like, are you like, oh, we're gonna do, or oh, I want to do this? Is there something like the Hollywood? We talked about the Hollywood wall enough, but like, what are you? Is there something in your, like that you're like just super proud of? Like it was a major risk and you
It paid off.
and it paid off?
like for stuff that we've done
Yeah,
already.
yeah. Or are planning to. I mean, just it's just
For
picking your
m-
brain.
For me, like in terms of like getting ready for a project or like or
Because
like finishing it
you're
up.
doing you're involved with the designs too, right, on the front side.
Yeah.
So are there any where you're like, oh, on this kitchen I'm gonna do this backsplash, or is there something that you've like really like honed in on where you're like, this is gonna be my signature? What's Danny's signature?
I don't think I have like a signature yet.
I bet you do. I got to go back and look at some of your flips. I'm sure there's like, that's what it is.
Well, for staging, I have a signature. I really like incorporating scent into my staging because I just think it's huge.
It's huge. Scent's the biggest memory trigger.
I don't know if you guys remember, but I use and now every stager in DFW is going to try and copy me. No, but I use diffusers, I use diffusers because they're looking at it, they're loving it, they're smelling it. They're like, oh my gosh, I just love this house. And it's one of our, scents.
Yeah.
So I love incorporating scents into my staging. In terms of design, I just love having fun. In one of our flips, Fontana, and I love breaking comps. If I don't break a comp in one of my designs,
he gets so mad because that's my goal.
Together, you guys are. I'm telling you, you're reading his heart right now.
If I don't set the record,
and it's
I'm mad.
What was the point?
Yep.
But then I turn around, I'm like, yo, we don't listen. It's great being the best, but I'm telling you, there's a lot of room right there at awesome. I'm not saying cut corners, but you can settle for being a great, but something that we always talk about.
And you're the Don, and I'm the Anthony.
Again, I'm very business. I go in and I have fun designing them and everything, but at the end of the day, I'm there for a reason.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not buying this for fun.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, and this is where we always have conversations, I'm like, come on now. Yeah, it'd be great if I put a second story on this house, but is it needed? No, I don't think so.
So I didn't even think of the scent aspect of staging like that, It's like I didn't think about that. But if you walk into certain hotels, when we do the event at the Virgin, you walk into the Virgin and it has they have a scent.
Mm-hmm.
You walk into certain Marriotts and they have the Marriott scent.
Oh yeah.
It's a thing.
I don't know what builder it is, but there's a builder that has his own scent. And you walk, it might be Toll Brothers, but you walk in and everyone, their model homes, when you walk in, they all smell the same. And they designed it. They have a trademark.
Yep.
It's in every one, and it's amazing.
Absolutely.
And every time you walk in, you're like,
and it just
exactly
puts you in a great mood.
It feels like home. You're like, I want this to be my home.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to walk in and smell this.
It puts you in a certain headspace where you're just like, oh, nice.
But that's tapping into that emotion, and
it's the target.
And that's
don't want to be the arrow.
And some things, it's like a lot of people don't think about that. They don't think about the emotion of it.
Yeah.
Or they get tied up in their emotions and not thinking about the buyer's emotion or whatever. And I think that, again, real estate's done on emotion, and so tapping into that's huge. I didn't ever think of sense.
Yeah, and it's all the little details. For me, design is all the little details, of course, for the Virgin, Bill, I've had conversations with Bill, and it took them, I think, 3 years, he told me, to get the design, just the design.
Is Bill designing those buildings? I was about to say, because that man can't dress, let alone design a building.
No, he didn't design it, but obviously he's incorporated into the whole
decision-making process.
I'm only kidding, Bill. Don't crush my life. Please.
He's gonna come after you.
I make fun of his boots sometimes.
And he said that the design budget was ridiculous for it. I think it was $10.3 million for it,
insane.
and it started out as the usual modern. Glass, Dallas, and then he was like, no, you know what, I want a lace feeling. I want something white. I want something porous. I want something different. And 3 years, but I think it's it is for sure one of the hottest, if not the hottest hotel in Dallas.
The Virgin, right?
Yeah.
The Virgin, yes.
So if you drive up and down 35, you see that. Now I see you just telling me that story. If you drive, someone put up a picture of the Virgin Hotel, it's literally that facade that they layered in. It literally is lace.
You can't miss it.
It's really awesome.
Yeah.
And then that's the Virgin.
Yeah.
And it's the white with the red sign, and you're like, that's where it is.
Yes.
Oh, right. And it's crazy. It definitely stands out. So
and for the first year and a half of them doing that whole design concept, it was not like that. And then he was like, you know what, this isn't different enough.
Yeah.
And that's marketing, that's branding, that's design, and it just incorporates everything really beautifully,
So Lucy and I, my wife, right, we do staycations, right? We'll just randomly weekend get a babysitter, and we'll just rent a hotel, go out to dinner, and just stay in Dallas. And the Virgin is our literally bar none our favorite hotel, just because it's such a higher level. Like it's
the
sexy.
showers.
The shower.
Yes.
I'm not joking. I wanted to, the last event, I was like, we're not getting a room? Like, I was upset because I just wanted to go and sit in that shower for
Right.
hours.
Whatever it is about that pressurized water that comes out of
They have a
that
hydrofoil
rain
tank,
head,
and yep.
it's
Amazing.
the water pressure is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
It's yeah. So, but that's another thing. Talking about showers, right? You'll see rain heads used sometimes in flips, and then they put them like so close to the wall.
Yeah.
And there's literally a house that I was competing with as a comp, and I was like, I went in there and I'm like touching the wall, and I'm like, I can't get under the,
Yeah.
And so there's
like,
a lot of that when I'm doing my walkthrough designs with the guys, and I'm like, okay, no, put this.
Like, just actually think about the like somebody
Functionality.
living
Yeah.
in here and
Yep.
getting in this shower and actually doing it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, I mean, I get it. Projects are long. You start getting frustrated. There was this and that, and 10K over what you thought, and you're just
Only 10?
yeah, I know, right?
Something people never think about is light switches, right? When we design our houses, it's all about functionality. I want the buyer to be able to walk in and see how they're going to wake up and look out the window and picture their morning, right?
Yeah.
How they're going to get their coffee. We care about where they're going to put their microwave and make their breakfast or something. Like
Yes.
these are conversations we have. Light switch is another one, right? If I'm walking into a room and the light switch is here, if I go to the bedroom, how am I turning it off? Oh, I need a 3-way. And it's something that we spend not a lot of energy on, but thought goes into that people don't. Showers is another one where we'll go and stand in the shower. I'm like, yo, we need another rain head. I'm sorry. Like, my butt
needs
cheeks
to
are
be a
going to
double-
get cold
Yeah.
if I'm in the shower, and I'm being serious. Like, it's not functionally
Worth
proper.
it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and you're doing it, and I'm spending the money. The walls are open. It's already
Might
done.
as well do it.
Just do it, and then what I'm
It's literally
finding.
PEX. It's
Yeah,
plastic.
what I'm finding is that the buyers are seeing when we're going to market, the buyers are seeing the difference in our product.
Oh, absolutely.
The last one before Hollywood, the buyer wrote me an email. I guess her agent gave her my email address, and she like wrote me a thank you letter for and the way she worded it, I'm not gloating. She literally was like, "Thank you for letting me have one of your creations."
Oh my
and
God,
I was like,
love it.
so
I hate
Like,
it. I hate it.
So
I hate it because I'm sitting there. I'm like, don't read
Big
that
head.
shit. No,
Yeah.
we're not
but
doing this.
But
to
it
everyone.
just reaffirms, like reassures me that the thought process that we are doing is working.
Yes.
And I think as long as we keep doing that, I'm happy, and live to fight another day. I didn't always get to do it this way.
Yeah.
I've been doing this a long time, and the market hasn't always been the market that it is today.
Yeah.
There was a time when I was doing this where houses sat on the market for 360 days. Like, it was a beating.
Yeah.
So you didn't get to have the passion, right? You had to do it on the budget. You had to do it as cheap as possible. And
You had to have that hold cost like present. Yeah.
which is a whole nother avenue of the business, right? So look, we're spending the money, whether it's on the holding cost or it's on the rehab, we're spending the money.
Yeah.
You just have to accept that, come to terms with it, and then execute the best possible way. And so I go a little bit further, and
It doesn't take much, though. When we're talking about, let's just say, Hollywood shower, right? That master shower, it's like a work of art, right? You walk in, there was nothing. That's regular tile. That's cheap tile. The cost difference from putting a regular standard shower head in there was, let's just say, $120 for a shower head. I think we spent $250 on that. So you're talking about $100 and something odd bucks.
Right.
You spent different, but it has such an impact. It has the Hollywood one has the 6 nozzles, right?
yeah, the 6
Yeah.
And
body jets.
that was during our freeze, right? Like COVID freeze that happened a couple months ago. We couldn't get it. We had to wait and wait and wait and wait. And we were going to settle. We were going to just go and put it. And I said, no, we're not in a rush for it. We got other work to get done. Wait for the shipping because it's worth it. It's worth the money. And you're only talking about $100.
Yeah.
But it knocks it out of the park.
It does.
So I'm not talking about on our, 150 ARV South Dallas ones. I'm not talking about going to put jets and nozzles in and all the bells and whistles.
That's a good idea.
But there's
it.
ways to spend $100 and get something that pops, and you're going to get desire over it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think following like my historical trend of where I'm headed and what deals we're doing, I try to just stay ahead of the curve a little bit. I spend way too much time looking at houses and cars, but houses, and I literally have like a folder on my phone of just inspiration for almost every house. And I'm like, oh, let me take that and put it in this one. I haven't done glass cabinets, and in Hollywood we were able to put the glass cabinets at the top.
Yes.
I think on the Lipscomb project I'm gonna put on one of the walls there's kind of gonna be like a curio, like a hutch, built-in hutch.
Yes.
And I'm gonna make those glass.
See, he's so trendy.
So
you really are.
Thank you.
Because that is very trendy right now.
But our cost isn't, when we say that, right, all that is our cabinet guy that's already doing the custom, that might cost us $200-$300, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the glass is going to be a little extra, but the cost, you're not talking about thousands of dollars to build a curio, and it's gonna make a pop.
And
people are gonna be like, "Wow, it's not shaker."
Well, and yes,
Great.
and
So
we're doing
we're talking
smooth.
about doing this
we're
smooth
doing a smooth front, recessed flush cabinet.
Yes.
Like if you were to go circa 1880, 1920, they didn't have shaker cabinets, right? Like that wasn't their thing. So I don't want to do a period piece house and and like bring mid-century modern stuff into it, right? That doesn't work.
Yes. And I was going to ask, like in that vintage house, are you going to go more mid-century modern?
No.
So you don't want to
No,
do that.
we're going to go circa, again, late 1800s, not farmhouse, though. Like there's a lot of people that are like, oh, just because you're doing an 1800s house, you go farmhouse. You don't have to do that.
No.
So we're going to go with they had the
seamless.
Yeah, so very seamless lines. Whereas I do a lot of...
texture, we're doing light texture.
Yeah, we're there. That's a perfect example. Yesterday, I sent a message to the texture guy that he's to do. I don't want to pay for flat texture because it's like the most expensive texture to do because it has to be flawless. So I'm going to do the lightest possible texture.
Okay. Like a level 4.
Walls. Yeah,
level
yeah,
5,
on the
3.
walls. If it with maybe an eggshell type of feel. Because they didn't have orange peel or knockdown in 1880.
Yeah.
All the houses were basically smooth. So I don't, it's little things that
incorporating the old with the new.
Yeah. So, and then one thing I'm a stickler for is laundry rooms. These houses don't have laundries, or they're in the garage, and I think of myself like, I'm a big boy, and I have to do my laundry. If it's August in Texas, I'm not going to the garage with no air conditioning to do my laundry. Like I've done that before, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
So try to always bring that in the house somewhere, where they have functionality. So
we've been spoiled in the last 2 houses that we have, and we're completely renovating a home right now because I'm expecting, for everybody that's listening, I'm doing 2 months and I can still see through the walls, so y'all can only imagine how that's going.
He'll get it done.
And I know, but I'm having so much fun trying to like get everything.
Well, you got I've seen some of the photos, and you got the barrel ceilings. Like you have those, right? Don't you have some special ceilings going on there?
Yes.
Like you got
lots of
a lot of stuff to play with.
Oh yes, it's gonna be so much fun. It's harder when it's your home.
Yes.
Because you're so emotional about it.
The decisions are final.
Yes.
You're not saying, hey, that's a good decision, and you're done with. You're walking away. You're like,
wait a minute.
Am I happy with that forever? Like,
Right. And one big thing we've been spoiled with, the laundry room has always been attached to our master closet, which I think is so genius. And now it's not. And I was like telling Dawn the other day, I'm like,
how dare you?
Is it on the other side of the house?
It's on the other side of the house, yeah. So I was like,
what's
wait
above
a minute. Above the laundry room?
Because future, right? It's not. I don't think you care about your bedroom as much right now.
Yeah.
Later on, when you got to do the kids' laundry, that's the thing. So what I was asking, what's above it is, hey, tell him to put a laundry chute in.
Oh yeah.
Because even if you're going through from the kids' room, that's when you have the laundry. because kids are just racking it up and anything upstairs. So downstairs, you're working from your master across. You're not going up and downstairs.
That's genius.
Donovan, you're getting a laundry chute. Yeah.
Seriously.
We're foodies, and that's all we think about is functionality. How do I want this to function?
Yeah.
That's how we design everything.
I love that. Tell me you're a parent without telling me you're a parent.
Yeah.
You're thinking about this already. I need that.
As if he does the laundry. As if he does the
No,
laundry.
but I got to
do
make
have
sure the kids' socks are going to get there easy.
Yeah, I was about to say, you do have to carry it to the laundry
Yeah.
room, but, but yeah, it's again, functionality,
Yeah, and I was going to say to, like, just, like, bring it all in. Everybody benefits from a good design. Like, Don, he doesn't think about that. He doesn't have the same mind frame. He's more business. He's green. He's analytical.
He's a rookie.
Yes.
Yeah.
But does he benefit from a good life that, like, flows really well without him even noticing? Yeah, absolutely. Everybody does. You take that nice shower, you're like, man, that felt good. I'm ready for the day. It's like those small things really make all the difference in, like, your daily life. And functionality is so important. And just, like, making design flow that way.
Yeah.
I just love it.
So there's the design, right, has multiple points or parts where it's the functional, it's the look, but it's
not
the
just
use.
bells and whistles.
Yeah.
If it's all just for show, like your product and that happiness stops at some point. And I every time we do the flip, every time we're getting it, it might take an extra week. We have one in Fort Worth that's like, I'm like, okay, we're crossing the finish line. All right, one more week.
Yes.
And it's just because, you know what? No, we need 2 more lights. And we have the guy going and putting in 2 more lights in the kitchen because it was too dark.
I'm standing by the sink, and can't even
like
see my hand.
Yeah. It's just dark. And so I was like, you know what? I don't want that buyer's happiness to stop. I want it to keep going. I want them to be happy. I don't want them 2 months in to be like, yo, why is this kitchen so dark?
Yeah.
So, do I care too much? Maybe. But is there actually a problem with that? I don't know. Maybe at the end of my life, maybe I'll get some sort of reward.
See, you look at it on that end where the buyer, I want the buyer to be happy for a while. I looked at it, like I walked in there and I haven't been to that property in months. And I'm literally sitting there. I'm like, a buyer's going to walk in, stand right here and say, honey, how is what do you think of the house? And they're going to be talking around the kitchen. That's how, whether or not it's a one buyer and a realtor, they're going to talk right there and they're going to say, it's kind of dark in here.
Yeah.
And that's instantly what I think of, like how they're going to perceive it.
Especially light. I'm such a stickler for light. Like, I love natural light. It needs to be, like, if it's dark, I'm like, what's going on in here? Like, I can't even think. It's dark.
We do 4K on we dimmed it down now, but we used to do 4K on everything, and it's like a bright white, clean white. We don't like yellows. I don't like the under 2500 range. It's just yellow. It makes everything look like piss.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it makes it literally from one end of the house to the other. You could see if all the lights are on. You could see like
the
tone
paint looks
difference,
different.
and the paint looks different. And so again, it's part of the story. Even like the story has to flow into the listing, and we talk about this. Like the description of the listing has to
I was
tell
going
the
to
story.
say your listing agent better be a storyteller, because if you're putting
That's
that,
us.
perfect,
That's
good,
Yeah.
because you want
Yeah.
them to know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
you
like
put all this time and energy.
And so
Listing's
that's
an art.
Yes.
There is an art form to a listing, and I was talking about like doing an interview with a really powerful like realtor who understands the story of the description, because house buying is so virtual. Like your most couples or whatever, most buyers are sitting there on their iPad or their tablet and they're scrolling through Zillow or Realtor or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a virtual business.
Yeah.
And then they go and they are mostly telling their agent like, hey, I want to go see this one, or hey, no, I don't want to see that one. And so I think telling that story with staging, with the functionality, photos.
Yes.
Like
so
you saw the
important.
listing photos on Hollywood,
Yes.
and people looked at it and they were like, "Yo, who staged that?" So, you got compliments just on the photos, and I was like, "What? That's like she's getting more compliments than I am." Like which is part of it, right? That's the idea. I wanted them to focus on the staging there. So
it always breaks. It's a whole thing. It takes a village. It really does.
Yeah.
And it always breaks my heart when there's bad photos. And it's like a beautiful staging, and you can't even tell, and the dimensions are all wrong. And I'm just like, I'm sad. Like, because for $50 more that you could have paid a really good photographer, you really just took that away from yourself. And I think NARS released like a statistic, and it was like there's a 64% more chance that the client is going to ask the buyer's agent to go in there if it's staged and it's photographed properly. If it's not photographed properly and it looks ugly, like...
We pay for grass. So on our photos, we pay extra just to have the grass painted on the photos. And it sells. It's a stupid thing. You're like, why do you care? But no, that first
in the
photo,
wintertime, especially in the wintertime in Texas, everything's brown.
Yeah.
Right? So grass is dead.
That thumbnail photo.
I want that thumbnail photo. So I want that thumbnail photo to be like, oh my God, summer in this backyard, right?
Yes.
Like you want that.
You're starting to paint the picture.
Yeah.
And also, this is just like my pride. That MLS picture is going to be there forever.
Yep.
Like, just take some good photos.
Yeah. And it's not even, right, it's almost, it's there for, not even just Google, right?
Yes.
Like, you put in that address, and all of a sudden, that whatever that last photo was on MLS, yes, it's going to be there forever. But in the Google world, right? So, like, it's like, oh, I don't want to leave one of my, like, I can't leave my name attached to that.
Yeah.
I used to think, like, oh, I could take the photos. But honestly, like, it's the best. You spend all this money on Hollywood. We spent over $100,000, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, why at the very end would I go cheap on 150? Even I think on those photos, because I had him do like an absurd amount of photos to get me the most that I could pick from. It was like $250.
Yeah.
But he did Kieran, he's a Facebook guy, 18% Productions, and he did an amazing job with them. And even on a rainy day, he did it. Like,
yes, I remember.
It was. Oh, that house got plagued by rain, but the grass is happy. We put sod down that day, and the sod's super. It's growing great, and it's awesome. So
what are your plans, right? Moving forward, you're killing it with the staging, obviously. Donnie's business is going with the flips. What's your goals? Are you going to take your design for your staging and turn that into its own? I know it is its own business, obviously, but what's your vision for that?
Like, are you going to do consulting?
Yeah. So are you?
So, since I'm about to have this baby,
So.
I'm actually enjoying really talking to different designers in different places, different states, like that do different things, and trying to really figure out what route I want to go. Do I want to go the renovation route? Do I want to go the consulting route? I definitely always want to stage, like, and I'm starting to delegate and like automate that stuff more. It's really personal to me though, because the little touches, like that's everything to me.
You did the greenery in the master shower at Hollywood, and it's so funny because it just pops on that white subway. That little and you didn't do just like a little thing in the shower box. You did it like water flow plant, and it just felt really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with the shower head that you guys had, I was just like, this is just it.
The waterfall, that makes so much sense. Like the waterfall greenery down the wall with the rain head. Like, totally works.
I just think about little stuff like that. And
you guys aren't allowed to talk to each other. I'm going to put a cut, because I'm telling you, I'm over here, my blood pressure's going up. I'm like, no.
But, and so it's hard for me, and, it's my first business that I own all by myself, so it's getting to, grow and delegate and stuff like that, but I definitely always want to do that. But I think about maybe, like, a product line as well. Like, I love which we didn't even touch on this, but, furniture. Mm-hmm. Once you get that sold, you gotta furnish the house and have that, and it's such a big part of your home and your staging and stuff like that. So I think right now I'm at a really good place where I'm really happy where I'm at, and I've been able to play with different aspects of design, and I'm excited to be a mom and kind of take some time.
Collaborative product we could do.
What?
I'm going to buy a house. We're going to design it.
Yeah.
We're going to furnish it, and we're going to sell it fully furnished.
Oh, I'm so down.
Right?
Yes.
Like, you don't have to do anything but move in.
So what I was
We
getting,
will even design the sheets like, 2,400 thread count or something
Down
ridiculous.
to the
oh,
T.
yeah. Yep.
That's funny because Don
told
was
you guys,
telling
you
me.
you two can't talk together.
That would be one bougie house.
So
Oh my gosh, it would be like
Mm-hmm.
extravaganza. But listen, the market is here for it
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like all these, I think the biggest like design waves that we get really are, and this is gonna change. But well, Joanna Gaines is in Waco, Texas, but really they're from the West and they're from the East. New York and
Yep.
LA obviously have always been the biggest. But like the market's here. Like
Yeah.
it's time to get creative. It's time to get. I don't know. It's just time to do that extra step and make these houses really great.
And you see it coming with a lot of the new construction, which I have my pet peeves with new construction, but
Same.
you see a ton of like what I feel like New York, New Jersey,
Yeah.
new construction coming in with like metal siding. Like there's a
More
whole very modern
Industrial.
Yes,
industrial
darker.
kind of and that's another thing where, like people are painting their houses, the exteriors dark.
Yes.
And
metal grays and such.
and it's
Yeah.
interesting because I'm always like, yo, my friend is having a new house built, and she's like, oh yeah, this is stucco, and I was like, ask the builder if you can get rid of the stucco. She looks at me, she's like, no, I like it. And I was like, no, you don't. I was like, you're a single mom. If you keep that stucco, you're going to be calling me every 12 months to get it painted and like worked on. I was like, don't do stucco.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh,
maintenance.
and she literally is calling the builder to try to change out the stucco because of the maintenance,
some
right?
stone,
So
yeah,
it's
or something.
there's just so many different influences of modern constructions, new materials that are coming, like it's just there's a whole world of
Yeah,
of
I think
stuff.
from New York we're seeing a lot of like the metals and the dark, and from LA we're seeing a lot, which we're gonna incorporate into our house. We're doing the white oak.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, just like with the
We
the
have it
really
in
nice
our
straight
in our
lines.
Yep.
And just bringing, because of course like the white has always been in, but a nice way to bring warmth to it and like really make it a home is doing white oak.
Yep.
And so we see, I don't know, the indoor outdoor living is becoming a really big thing, which we're trying. Texas with its weather.
You have to have
It's-
shade.
yes.
Cell shades
Yeah,
everywhere in the
it's-
backyard.
Yeah, the heat. We have a brother that has like the accordion door. So
Oh, yeah.
he's got a new house up in Prosper, Salina, and the back of his house is all glass and accordion's open. And you're like,
He took that out and he now has a one that lifts up. Oh, I'm talking about the exterior.
no,
sorry.
yeah. And so it's it's
Disregard.
crazy though because on a nice cool evening like spring, fall, it's really nice. But then I can't imagine
Hot
in
day.
August, right? Like that door's got to stay closed as much as possible.
Hell
So,
yes.
but yeah, depending upon the house, where the house is facing, and all that stuff, there's so much that goes into it. That,
Yeah.
That was one of the reasons why I had to have you in because I was like, all right, she obviously puts thought into stuff. I'm like, what is coming? What should we look out for? And like. I wanted to make fun of some of the stuff that
That we see.
Yeah, because there's so much. There's so many things. I'll drop him a link and I'll be like, look at these. So these
Yeah,
are
we
like
do that all
the worst.
All the
I
time.
gotta start
Photos.
sending them to you. Like
Yeah.
this is the worst listing photo ever.
Toilet seats up and
Oh,
such.
that's a pet peeve of mine. If you ever do a listing, and you ever take a photo, and it's actually I think I told Kieran this the first time he took a photo of our house. I was
We'll
like,
fire
hey,
you on the spot.
if
You will
send,
never be
if-
hired again.
if you send me a picture of my bathrooms with the toilet seat up or toilet lid up or open, I will kill you. Like I do not have photos out there in the public with the toilet seat up. Like it just never. Keep the lids down.
And that's the photographer's job, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
come on. Why
Yeah.
would you ever think that's okay?
Never.
But it's just setting that standard, even if it makes no difference, right? If that doesn't affect a single buyer, so be it, because that's a standard that you're setting as a business owner. This is the product I want. I want this level. I want your attention to detail to be looking at everything that we are looking at, and that's why we're going to pay for it too.
How do you guys feel about like new windows? Are you guys doing on your remodels? Are you guys doing new windows, or some of them yes, some of them no, depending upon the project, obviously.
Depending upon the project. But I always think it's it's good ROI.
It's actually like the first thing the appraiser.
It's the only thing we do.
Yeah, it's every single house gets new
house.
windows, and we get mocked for it. But at the same point, the appraiser, that's the first thing they look at.
Yeah.
The windows and the roof.
Yeah.
And when they see new windows, the reason I brought it up was because on Hollywood, my mother actually was trying to get me to put mini blinds up. You know, like the 2-inch blinds, like we kind of go. And I was like, no, I don't do mini blinds.
No.
And she's like, why? And I was like, because I want the buyer to see, all that natural light in that house. But specifically, I want them to see the new windows, right?
Yes.
That new, clear line of sight, like Nick just said.
Yeah.
I want them to see the window. I don't want them to see the blinds.
You're also not getting any return on that investment.
No.
Like from my aspect, business analytics, like let's just say each window is $60. You're never,
No.
you 30 windows in a house,
Yep.
you're never getting that money back.
Yeah.
You already did the windows. You already spent the
I
money.
have yet to have someone ask me for mini blinds.
We sell houses without shower glass.
Yeah.
Right? We
Yep.
we will put it up. Hey, if I give you an offer, you're going to make the right offer.
Sure,
Right.
And we've
right.
done it before. We'll go back. There's been times where we'll sell a giant master shower without any glass, and they just take it and go, and they're going to put their own in.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's something that is
It's very
It
it's
can be very
definitive.
personal.
it's very
designing.
personal.
Yeah.
Whether they want actually the client on Hollywood, the buyer for Hollywood, wants shower glass. I'm not paying for it, but they asked if I could help them get it, right? Because we can do things obviously at pricing that most other people can't.
Of course.
Well, I went back and forth with them for like the last 2 weeks on the design of it, and I'm like, guys, it was just
is why.
reaffirmed. It just reaffirmed why I don't do it. Because they wanted
Because they have their vision and you
Yes.
have yours, and it's like no longer really yours.
Yes, it's no
you
longer
know?
mine. Like I wrote that check. It's just need
Do
to get
whatever.
to yeah.
Don't break
So,
my heart. I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah, it's interesting because they were looking for a certain design, and look, shower glass can get expensive. That
Yeah.
was the other thing. If they were going to go spend $5,000 on glass, that's one thing. They were looking for it on a budget, and it was like, look, here's how much this is. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
So shower glass is another thing that we don't go cheap on. It's like the same thing on Hollywood, though. I wanted them to see the shower. A lot of times when we design,
Nobody goes in it.
candle nut, right? It was like a dual shower, both sides, right? And it was like I didn't want them to see glass. I wanted them to see the giant shower heads and this dual
The gold accents.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The dual
I didn't
heads.
want the glass. The same thing with the blinds. I didn't want that to be what they saw.
Yeah.
Another thing that we're not doing is chandeliers. Like I don't do pendant lights or chandeliers. It just blocks your line of sight. And I see so many investors on their peninsulas or islands. They put these hanging pendants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, you got a really nice range back
Good.
there, and
That I can't see.
that I can't see.
Because you spent $100 on those pendants.
And then the photographer.
Pendants More than
They
that.
are.
Oh, I
yeah.
know.
They're
Yeah.
I'm saying
an arm
they're
and a-
cheap.
Yeah.
And then the photographer didn't hit the Ventahood or something, right? Like
Yeah.
that's all part of the story of what we do. And so I don't know, it's like certain things that I'm like staying away from.
So my
Because
question.
it's not worth.
No.
In your business, it's not worth the mental.
Yeah.
You got to know where to draw the line.
Yes.
It's good that you are attention to detail, but at one point, if it was your house,
Yeah.
but at some point, you
Yeah.
just
You just let it
do
go.
your best
Mhm.
and best foot forward, and
That's the one thing. We never design it. We design it like we're gonna live there, but we never design it how we want it to be if we are gonna live there. So like tile choices, same thing. We're not gonna go and I want marble and I want to go out and spend an arm and a leg. Listen. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna be inexpensive, economical. Sell it. Those decisions is what we come down to.
yeah.
The reason why I was asking about what you're going to do in the future is because last night we met with some friends. They had a flood, and they're up for insurance.
Yeah.
Right? They're in long-term living while their house is completely rebuilt.
Mhm.
And are they renting that through?
So they're
Tell
renting.
that one.
They're renting is actually a pretty great concept. And so this this person, this business guy, is his real estate business. He got 80 or 100 of these rentals where he goes into apartment complexes across Texas, and he rents multiple units, and then designs them and stages them, but living
Fully furnished,
right?
yeah.
Fully furnished housing, and then basically rents it as like, corporate housing by the month.
Oh,
or
like
whatever.
commercial rentals.
Yeah,
Okay.
and or like his version of an Airbnb,
Yeah.
right? And so
I do have one. I have worked with those people.
it's like stupid expensive.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
they're what should be a $1,500 to $1,700 rental is they're paying like $4,000 a month.
Yeah.
Fully furnished, TVs, everything, kitchen stuff. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's the concept is, and he doesn't own them. All he owns is he owns the furniture, and he's got 80 to 100 of these, and I'm like, that's nuts.
So I was wondering if that's something that you guys not thought about that, obviously, but for some of your rentals, like, listen, I have all this staging furniture. Let me put into a rental, and then long-term Airbnb, anything like that.
Oh, yeah. I think Airbnbs, commercial rentals, is something that I'm totally interested in. It was kind of difficult. I haven't even had elevated interiors for a year.
Wow.
I've staged over, I counted the other day, I've done 36 houses. And
That's a lot of furniture.
Yeah.
it is a lot of furniture. And I started during COVID. So, and I tried, I'm very proud. Like, I know Don is like
You
a
should
really
be.
big
You should be.
influence, but I try to I'm me,
Yeah.
he's him. And
Well, that's why he's not here today. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, it's really because we don't like him.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But I started during COVID. So all the networking and stuff was like gone. We were also like doing full-time shooting and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to like things opening up and me being able to like talk to people and like
to normal,
actually
yeah.
get back there. Yeah, now I'm having a kid, so it's okay though.
Yeah.
Things
Talk
always
about
have a
timing,
way.
right? Like,
Yes, things always have a way of working out, and but I'm definitely interested in that commercial rentals and Airbnb because I was like, wow, what a way to like make cash flow, right? Like
Yeah.
that golden word. I was like, what a way to make cash flow with like the stuff that I love without having to own anything. Like genius. What?
yeah, it was a really cool concept of he buys the furniture once. I'm sure there's maintenance,
Yeah.
like, right, furniture breaks down over time, but
Yeah.
still, like, I guess that goes back to the vetting who your tenant's going to be, that sort of thing. But it's definitely a great concept.
The thing I like about Airbnb, one, I don't know anything about it. It's something I want to eventually have, but let's have our rentals. But what I like about it is the ones that I always hear that are killing it are the ones that you wouldn't think about, right? They're ones that are in more business areas, right? Where
Not the vacation
yeah,
ones.
not the vacation. All right, everybody says I want to go have a Airbnb down in Galveston.
Yeah.
Go search Galveston. There's about 3,000 of them down there. How are you going to stand out?
Right.
So having ones that are in more business areas where they're flying in for the weekend, they don't want to stay in a hotel, they want more of a homey feel, car rental, they're crushing it.
Yeah. And actually how I found out about them is like through a realtor, he introduced me to this businessman and he owned how do I describe it? Like medical offices where like dentists and like I don't know, all types of doctors would come. They have like different offices throughout the nation, but it's like doctor offices. And he owns these different condos, and they're like $500K plus condos in downtown Dallas, Seattle, Los Angeles, New York. And he had one here in Dallas, and he wanted to furnish it. And he wanted it to be really nice for his doctors. When they came in, so they could have like a good experience, they could go to work, blah, 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 and then
because they need to do what they're good at,
yes.
right? And then stay and let the real estate guy do what he's good at with the designer, right? Like the doctor doesn't like want to put the effort into the housing.
Yeah.
Do you have long-term staging or
Oh,
is that an option that you get? So it's not only for flipping, it's for, hey, I got a rental, like you just said, right?
Yeah.
Airbnb and
It's a different contract,
Yep.
but yeah, and I get asked about it all the time. I get asked if they can buy it too. I mean, they can buy it for a price, absolutely. And I have long-term like rentals and stuff like that. But really, when I met that person, because I could understand what he was trying to say to me, about like the getting it furnished and it was just super interesting. And ever since then, I was like Googling and stuff. I'm like, what is, because it's not an Airbnb.
Yeah.
It's just his people. That's
Yep.
his company, you know? And so that worked for me too, because I was just like, I don't know, with Airbnb, like, I'm not.
You got the seasonal. There's a whole different beast there.
And the parties, like what's
Yep,
going
yep,
on.
yep.
So I really just liked that it was more professional, and it was like people that are coming in for like a week or 2 weeks, and it was just like me.
or even
it's
out of
backed by something. There's nothing. It's not guesswork. Like you just said. All right, the weather's coming in. No,
Yep.
next week's gonna be dead. What I liked about last night is it's backed by insurance.
Yeah.
Right. The reason that the people that they're renting it to, they know they're in there for so long. The insurance is paying for it, so it's almost like a sure thing, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
always
as
great
compared
to have.
to-
as Yeah.
It's
to-
less of a gamble.
Yeah, whether or not they make, like, the insurance is paying that rental for them for whatever the extent of their contract is. So it's a no-brainer for that specific guy. Did I hear you say? Sorry, did I hear you say that you were thinking about a furniture line? Did I hear you?
A product line.
Yeah, like well.
So
And you don't have to. We can table that. But I was just curious. I was like, did you say that?
yeah, I definitely do. Like, for example, like, since my signature stuff is, scent when I stage, like, I definitely want to go into scents, like some type of candles, diffusers, like something like that.
That's my game.
That's Nick's thing. Nick used to make,
Really?
I
make
make
candles.
candles. I
Yeah,
still can.
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, like I know we talked about scents earlier. I like sat down with the Thompson Hotel because I did a little staycation there, and they spent like $100K just on scent.
Do you like? So I don't
year.
remember.
What?
I actually didn't walk. I haven't walked back into Hollywood since you were staging it, so I don't even know what Hollywood smells like. What do you like more
smells good.
musky scents, or do you like more sweeter scents? What? I love like musky, like sandalwoods, and now that we're talking about fucking scents on the real estate show, but
I know. I think.
what do you put in the houses? Let me get
Fresh.
that. Like what?
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm
was
getting
about to
at.
Nothing
say-
too
fresh.
crazy.
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Fresh linen, cotton.
All right, so
like,
clean, yeah.
clean.
So I don't like the sweet ones because again,
No.
you walk in and some people love them. Other one, I hate them.
Vanilla,
it's like if I can
sugar
smell
cookie.
candy,
No.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Clean linen, especially because you want it to stand out. Well, at least in a listing, right? In your house, do whatever the hell
Yeah.
you want.
Yeah.
But in a listing, in a staging, you want it just to feel good.
Yes.
Fresh, beautiful,
That's what
And
I'm
clean.
marketing to the masses. We were talking
Yes.
about that, right? You're
Yeah.
broadening your base of who you're marketing to.
Who doesn't love fresh linen, right?
Yeah.
Everybody loves.
I mean, you
Yeah.
get the fresh towel out of the warm dryer.
Like,
like
the cleaning
sugar
lady
cookies.
just came through,
Yes.
and then she just like took care of everything, and
Yeah.
you're just like happy.
Yes,
And-
that's what we're selling. We're selling happiness.
Yes.
So.
But and then also like the sweet ones always give people migraines.
I
and
hate them.
stuff.
I walk in and I throw the candles. I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't need to walk in and smell cookies and all that jazz. and
Yeah. Unless there's
caramels.
actually cookies.
Yeah.
I don't want.
I don't want to be
cookie
tricked
smell.
into it, right? I want, if there are cookie smells, where are the damn cookies, right? Like, yeah, it's
For a fat guy, that's a hard thing for me to swallow and say.
For a
But
pregnant lady too. You crave everything.
we need some Tiff's treats up in here.
Seriously. But also I'm really just like in an exploratory, like, I would love to do something with scents. I would love to do like trinkets, like vases and like little trinkets. I would love to do furniture, but I've looked into it. You need a lot of capital to do furniture, so I'm gonna work my way up to that.
Need
You
to get Cindy Crawford on the phone from Rooms to Go. She's got it worked out. I don't know what she's got, but that whole
those were two names I haven't heard in about 15
So
years.
long.
Cindy Crawford and Rooms to Go in
yeah.
one sentence.
Isn't that who does? She has her line at right.
I'm not.
Yeah,
knocking
I'm
it.
sure she
yeah,
does.
she's
Yeah.
got like a
Impressed.
line, and they're actually
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
they're actually like it's her own little design studio inside Rooms to Go, and it's like it's great. It's actually some really. The whole idea was it was like really nice furniture, but for the actual usage, right?
Yeah.
It's functional, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so she puts on some
Target can call me.
Oh, yeah.
Nebraska Furniture Mart can call me. I don't know. I'm trying to think of more cool places that do collaborations.
And there's some like big furniture places out there, but I that'd be amazing. There's some awesome designs.
Yeah.
And speaking of Nebraska, like you can go there, and I know you're about to like finish your house and move. You can go there and design your own couch.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
You know this. Like
Oh, yeah.
Like you're in it for that, like your movie room or whatever. Like you can go there and like have them make. So the couch that we
custom.
have
Yep,
is
that's
custom, and like I got to pick the
Height.
different the heights,
Everything.
the pieces. They made it custom length. It was awesome. It was the coolest thing I had done for my house. Was like designed for this one specific room. This huge, like 20-foot long couch, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" So
I'm excited because we've been renting for 2 years, and so
Place that call your home.
it's just gonna feel so good. But then, with my personality type, I'm like, okay, this is a lot, and then Don's like, I need all the decisions by tomorrow. I'm like, no. It's just
There's
going
going
to
to be some
no
change
for me.
orders on this one, Don.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over budget. I'm warning you now.
Like, just give me the contractor's number.
That's great. Jeez.
You're out of this conversation. It's me and him now.
Well, I appreciate you coming in. Hopefully you had fun.
I had the best time. Thank you guys for
hopefully
inviting me.
Come back and talk more. And, if you guys are out there and you like what we did today, want to get in touch with Danny about staging or, designs, things like that, we'll put up her information. Or what's the Elevated Interiors Instagram? What do you...
So, Elevated Interiors is at Elevated Interiors with an underscore. And then you can find me on Instagram at the Daniela Michêlle, and we're on Facebook too. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share, and keep going.